Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about a very important topic in sociology and legal studies, that is law and social change. So few questions we need to answer. How does law change society? Can law bring equality? Does society change first and then law follows? Or does law push society to change? We'll break everything down. Let's begin. Before understanding law and social change, we need to know what social change is. Social change means any significant change in society's values, behavior, institutions, or structure. For example, change in family systems, gender roles, caste relations, or economic changes, or changes in education, technology, culture. Social change is continuous. It can be slow or fast, and it affects the whole society. So what is law? Law is a set of rules created by the state, enforced by the courts and institutions. Law controls behavior, protects rights, and maintains order. But sociology says law is also a social institution, that is, influenced by culture, politics, economy, and public opinion. Now, what is the relationship between law and social change? The big question is, does law change society or does society change law? The answer is both. Law can push society to change. Law is an instrument of social change. For examples, banning child marriage, criminalizing dowry, giving reservation to weaker sections, environmental laws, or right to education. All these laws forced social behavior to shift. Sometimes society changes first and then law adopts. That is, social change happens first and law changes later. For example, rising education led to demand for women's rights laws. Economic growth led to new labor laws being enacted. Technology growth led to cyber laws. Society evolved and laws followed. It's a two-way relationship. Law and society constantly influence each other. It's like a cycle. Society demands change and law reforms come. Law changes behavior and society evolves. Both work together. Let's discuss how exactly law changes society. That is, law as a tool of social change. It can happen through rights and protections. That is, laws protect vulnerable groups, women, children, minorities, disabled persons, LGBTQ plus community, workers. For example, Domestic Violence Act of India gave women legal protection because of changed attitudes. It can happen through redistribution. Laws can reduce inequality. For example, reservation policy, land reforms, minimum wage laws, social welfare laws. These laws uplift weaker groups. Law can also act as a social change through social justice. Laws create fairness. For example, abolition of untouchability under Article 17, anti-discrimination laws, or right to equality under Article 14. These laws break old hierarchies and promote dignity. Social change can happen through modernization and development. Laws promote education, technology, economic growth, public health, urban planning. For example, Right to Education Act increased school enrollment, which led to changed attitudes towards schooling. The social change can happen through changing values. Laws push society to adopt to new moral standards. For example, banning triple talaq, outlawing sati, or criminalizing marital rape, LGBTQ plus right laws. Law teaches society what is acceptable. Law alone cannot always change society. So when does law fail to create the social change? Let's see. Lack of awareness. People don't follow laws they don't understand. For example, many rural areas don't know child marriage laws. People don't follow because of cultural resistance also. Traditions sometimes resist new laws. For example, caste-based discrimination continues despite laws. Dowry still exists. Culture can be stronger than law. It can happen due to weak enforcement. A law is useless if it's not enforced properly. For example, environmental laws often fail due to corruption or lack of monitoring. Economic problems like poverty and inequality can reduce the effectiveness of law. For example, child labor laws fail because families depend on income. If leaders don't support reforms, laws remain only on paper. That is, political will is required for social change. Next, let us look at the sociological theories on law and social change. Several sociologists explained how law and change work. Karl Marx said, "Laws protect the interests of the ruling class. Real change happens only when economic systems change." Emil Durkheim said, "Laws reflect the type of society." That is, traditional laws mean it is a repressive laws. Modern laws are restitutive laws. That is, laws evolve with society. According to Max Weber, modern law becomes rational and bureaucratic. Law helps create predictable social order. Let us look at few of the real-life examples of law bringing social change. Abolition of sati, Widow Remarriage Act, Untouchability abolished, Dowry Prohibition Act, Right to Education Act, LGBTQ plus decriminalization, Triple Talaq ban. Each law shifted public attitudes. Internationally, Civil Rights Act, abolition of apartheid, women's suffrage movements, disability rights laws, all these brought social change. So, to conclude, today we have learned that law and social change are deeply connected. Law can transform society. Society can demand new laws. Laws shape values, protects rights, and reduces inequality. But law alone cannot change everything. Culture, economy, and politics all matter. If this video helped you understand the topic clearly, hit the like button, comment your questions, and subscribe for more easy sociology explanations. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.